Hi, I'm DJ Ware. On this episode of the Cyber Gizmo, I want to talk about some of the technologies that were released this week at CES, but I'm not going to recover everything that everyone else is already talking about. I saw something that was totally different. Probably at about the time most of the gamers they turned it off as soon as it started talking about AI and enterprise. But anyway, I'm going to start out with a quote by Jeffrey Sinclair, one of the first commanders for a sci-fi TV show called Babylon 5. He said during one of their episodes, I think it was called By Any Means Necessary, it was in their first season, you should never hand someone a gun unless you know where they will point it. So for too long, I think we've been handing that gun to big tech. So whether it's our data, our software, or even our hardware, we've been trusting these corporations to serve us. But in many ways, it's become the other way around. We've been serving them, But what if we could take that gun back? What if we had the tools that could reclaim control over our own technology? That's where the NVIDIA announcement comes in. And we'll talk about that it's a modular, scalable, and decentralized vision for the future of computing. And I don't think they actually intended that. So before we dive into all that, let's talk about why all of this matters. So let's talk a little bit about NVIDIA's Project Digits. So when I saw this, Jensen Huang presented it as an AI workstation, a place where developers could build AI models, train them, make them work better, and so forth. But I saw it as something different. I looked at it from the standpoint of the supercomputer angle, and that is being able to deliver what you need when you need it. That's the whole idea behind the supercomputers. So this isn't your dad's gaming rig. The Digits machine is a modular supercomputer that's designed to grow with you.
This is NVIDIA's latest AI supercomputer. And it's fondly called Project Digits right now. And if you have a good name for it, reach out to us. Here's the amazing thing. This is an AI supercomputer. It runs the entire NVIDIA AI stack. All of NVIDIA software runs on this. DGX Cloud runs on this. This sits, well, somewhere, and it's wireless or connected to your computer. It's even a workstation if you like it to be. And you could access it, you could reach it like a cloud supercomputer, and NVIDIA's AI works on it. And it's based on a super secret chip that we've been working on called GB110.
And here's the kicker. It's coming to Linux before Windows. Windows isn't even planned yet, but the operating system that will be on it is a custom version of Linux that's built specifically for that device. I don't know much about it yet, but hopefully we'll learn more as NVIDIA rolls out more information about it. But, the fact that they're releasing this on Linux first is a clear break from the tradition of a Windows first release. That's unheard of. That just doesn't happen. Maybe NVIDIA was watching Qualcomm and they saw that, hey, this isn't going to be a good release if we put this on Windows first. Windows is recalculating their Copilot. I think they have something planned called Copilot 2 for release sometime in maybe first or second quarter of 2025. Don't know. I'm not real sure. It's kind of hard to decipher what they were actually talking about when they were presenting it during the Intel presentation this week. But this Digits machine is not just hardware. It's about solving your pain points. It's for developers who are tired of waiting for hardware support, waiting for that next cycle, that annual cycle of refreshes to hardware to bump the spec and making it available to us so that we'll purchase it and replace our existing hardware with it. That era is over because now instead of having to wait again, they can just plop a second one of these down. So, and we'll talk more about that. So for creators who need scalable power without relying on the cloud, this is bold, and it's a new step making technology personal again. It puts the control back in our hands, not in the hands of corporate cloud vendors. So the philosophy of this is scalability. Digits changes that. Instead of replacing your machine, you scale it. Need more power? Add another node. There's no waiting and wondering. You know exactly what it's going to do and how much power it's going to add. It's like adding another floor to your building without having to tear the whole thing down and start over again, which is essentially what we've been doing for the last, 4 decades? So yeah, it's time for that era to die, as far as I'm concerned. I never really liked that whole thing, the upgrades. It used to be that you could upgrade the box, to some degree for a couple of generations. That's not true anymore. So locally, Digits uses NVIDIA's NVLink to connect its nodes. Now that creates a seamless high-speed pipeline between the CPU, the GPU, your memory, and storage. It pools all those resources and creates a single unified system, if I understand the limited amount of information I see on the website. It's a personal supercomputer. That's exactly the way that supercomputers scale. So this is where I think we start dreaming a little bit. So the reason I call this the River Styx isn't because if you know anything about Plan 9, you know that Plan 9 was an operating system, a next generation, that Bell Labs was working on to replace Unix. Styx, not Strix, but Styx was the networking protocol that allowed these machines to operate together as one. So I'm not saying go get that protocol and then revive it. No, I'm not saying that at all. So anyway, for this vision, we need that communication protocol that goes beyond what we currently use. A protocol that's inspired by systems like Styx, but designed to meet the demands of a scalable, collaborative, and a secure network of the 21st century. So the hypothetical protocol would need seamlessly to integrate with nodes across local and global networks, enabling them to share resources like memory, GPUs, CPUs, and storage as if it was part of a single system. Local technologies like NVLink could handle the heavy lifting of the local network, but unfortunately, I think NVLink is proprietary and closed. So that's not something that we open source people are very likely to adopt. We'll probably tear this apart and use something of our own design. One thing is clear, security has to be front and center. I mean, traditional tools like SE Linux and virtual private networks and VLANs, those are robust, but they're not enough to protect a decentralized network of this kind of scale and power. We need next generation security mechanisms, things like hardware level encryption for data in transit and at rest, zero trust architectures that make sure that who is connecting to us is verified. And the encryption protocols need to be quantum resistant to be future proof against evolving threats. If you have some ideas, please put them down below. Imagine a system where every node validates its identity cryptographically and every action is logged and verified through a secure distributed ledger. Sounds like blockchain, doesn't it? So this would create a web of trust where every participant can contribute without the fear of compromise. But let's look at some practical examples. That's the pie in the sky stuff, but where does the rubber actually meet the road? What are the benefits of this? So for creators, picture a group of video editors that are collaborating on a film, each contributing a GPU and a CPU power to render scenes in real time. Or a team of 3D artists that are building photorealistic environments, leveraging a shared network of resources without ever touching the cloud. The problem with cloud is that if it goes down, you're down. The thing about this is if the cloud goes down or your collaborative network goes down, you still have your machines local on your desktop that you can use. Yes, it will reduce the amount of power that you have, but you're still able to work. For developers, think of developers working on massive projects together, compiling code faster than ever by pooling the computational power of their systems. They could do real-time collaboration, no waiting for cloud access, no having to set up VMs to be able to do short-term development and then tear them down again to prevent being charged exorbitant fees to use them. Now, I'd like to be clear, this isn't about using Styx itself as a protocol. It's about the need for a new protocol inspired by it, tailored to modern decentralized computing needs. This is a what if, a vision that challenges us to rethink the boundaries of personal and collaborative computing, old ideas. But it's about turning the internet back into a tool for connection, not control. It's about empowering individuals and communities to dream, make bigger things, create things together, and take ownership of the technology that they own. Not to be giving it up to some corporation that's mining our data for their own purposes. So why does this matter? Project Digits and Styx aren't just about power, they're about freedom. We open source people have been talking about freedom, the freedom to build software that's shared, the freedom to be able to change software that someone else wrote and be able to use it and repurpose it for our own needs. I know that this will probably bring the naysayers out of the network, out of the woodwork, but that's okay. I know that this vision will have its doubters. At least I hope so, and I'll tell you why. All my life, I've walked paths that have been 5 to 10 years ahead of the curve. If there were no naysayers along the way on things that I wanted to look at, I knew I was on the wrong track because nobody was bothered and weren't interested in it. But when the skeptics show up, you know you're on to something. That's when you really know that you've got something. So to the naysayers, your questions and critiques push ideas like digits and sticks to evolve, and that's a good thing. And maybe one day you might even be part of this vision too. Who knows? In closing, let's come back to our opening quote. You should never hand someone a gun unless you know where they're going to point it. For too long, we've handed that gun to big tech. But with digits and sticks, we have a chance to take it back. The tools are here. The question is, what will we do with them? What would you build with a modular system like digits? Would you use sticks to connect, create, or collaborate? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your ideas and your thoughts. Besides, this isn't about NVIDIA or digits. It's about us. It's about taking control and pushing boundaries. It's about sharing a future that belongs to all of us. Look back. The PC era began in 1981. Now, it was a corporate dream to begin with, but over time, it developed into a promise of democratizing computing, freeing us from the shackles of closed-door mainframes. And oh yeah, there was definitely naysayers when that happened. When the PCs started to threaten the mainframe, they were like, oh no, they're too small, they're too little, they can't do as much work as the mainframe. Once again, we're at this same crossroad. Once again, big tech has pushed technology behind closed doors. This time it's into the cloud. But now, yeah, we could open those doors and return that data center and all of its power to our desktop. The question is, where do you want to go today? And with that, I thank you for watching this video. I'll be back next week, and I hope to see you then. And goodbye for now.